Shalom, 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 shalom. Get in here just a second. Let a few people get a chance to get in real quick. You guys see the title, so I just wanted to address something real quick. Okay. All right, shalom, shalom. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna address a couple of things. See if I can get the Strongs. Let me see if I can get a Strongs. Okay, go to Strong's Concordance. Let's see what we can get here. Shalom, shalom. Let's see if we can get. Okay. Okay. And I'm looking for the right entry. Phone. Okay. All right. Shalom, shalom. I'm gonna go ahead and get started this conversation real quick. Let's see. And conversation really is gonna be, what about concubines, right? Shalom, shalom, the Zen exploration. Shalom, sister. I want to cover this. Shalom, 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 humble homestead. Thank you guys for joining me. If you guys have questions, of course, you can ask those questions and stuff. I'm just looking at a Strong's Concordance up here because I want to get that going and have that ready. Have that at the ready. Okay. Shalom, 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 shalom. Lenny, I see you. Shalom, shalom. Shakenya, I see you. Shalom, shalom. Rosie, UK, I see you. Shalom, all you sisters. I appreciate that. Cool, cool. If you know any of the sisters or anybody, just tell them to come in. We're going to just have a little discussion about handmaidens. Because, in my opinion, from what I've seen, there's a lot of misconceptions as to, the differences, at least when it comes to the differences in a wife, a concubine, and a handmaiden. a wife, a concubine, and a handmaiden. So I want to cover some of that, and I'm going to focus on a handmaiden. I don't have to explain to you guys, what a wife is. You guys know what a wife is, right? But I do want to explain concubine, and then I'm just going to put most of this little conversation, and I don't know how long it's going to take. I mean, sometimes you plan on this thing being like 10 minutes, and then it goes for an hour, so we'll see. But I wanted to focus on that because I think there's some misconceptions out there on handmaidens, and I want to, where's my search? There's my KJV. All right, so I want to make sure we have that all straightened out. So, and for some reason it just don't have the one online. It doesn't have like the whole definition spelled out, but that's okay. I have a Strong's over here too. But anyway, we know what a wife is. Okay, we know what that is. And when it comes to, for instance, a concubine, now the simple understanding, the simple definition, okay, is a wife with no inheritance, right? I mean, our father Abraham, he had a concubine later on, and I believe it was a Keturah, but he didn't give like an inheritance. See, now while he's alive, he can give gifts, right? You can gift your concubine. Obviously, a wife can get gifts and inheritance, and the whole 9 yards. But a concubine doesn't get like an inheritance typically. Okay, typically that's what happens, and I say typically because technically, Leah and Rachel's handmaidens, got elevated or made into wives, but they were still kind of referred to as handmaidens here and there, but they were full-fledged wives. Okay, I think that connotation was really about where they had came from. Okay, because we can read over, I think it's Genesis 33, where when Esau was coming, and Jacob lined up his family to greet his brother Esau. I think it's in Genesis 33, and he put them in rows or whatever, and then they bowed themselves to Esau, and it referred to Rachel and Leah by name in those passages, and then it said the other one was the handmaids, but they had already had kids, so they had already had kids, so that was already established. So let me go over there. So they had already had kids with Jacob, so they were already made wives. So they were not technically handmaids, but we do know that's where they came from. So let me see here. Handmaidens. I think it was Genesis 33. Genesis 33. So if I go Genesis 33, yeah, let me read up to 6, if you will, just to give you guys an idea, okay? Because you know how they say, don't want to take things out of context. Okay, in Genesis 33, it said, and Jacob lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, Esau came with him 400 men. So Esau was ready. 400 men, and he divided the children unto Leah and unto Rachel and unto the 2 handmaids. See, so he still, Bilhah and Zilpah, he still referred to them as handmaids in this text here. And he put the handmaids and their children foremost, and then Leah and her children after, and then Rachel and Joseph hindermost. So they're at the back or closest to him. They're in the back. If you stand in the back. So they're like in 3 rows. Okay, the handmaid and their children, there they go, and then Rachel and her children. Leah and her children, and then Rachel and their children. Verse 3, and he passed over before them and bowed himself to the ground 7 times until he came near to his brother. So he was bowing himself until he got to his brother Israel, which I think, that's why I said I think Israel was at the back. Okay. And then Esau ran to meet him and embraced him and fell on his neck and kissed him, and they wept. And he lifted up his eyes and saw the women and the children and said, who are those with thee? So who are these people? And he said, the children which God has graciously given thy servant, right? So he said, these are the kids that God gave me. Then the handmaids came near, they and their children, and they bowed themselves in verse 6. Okay, so that's what we have an idea, with the handmaids and stuff like that. But the reason why I'm doing this particular live is because there's a lot of misconceptions of handmaid, right? I mean, technically, a handmaid can come from a different place in life, right? But some people just think they're just slaves. Now, they did come from slaves. You know, there were slave girls who are, you know, they became somebody's handmaid, right? But some people keep thinking that that's all they are. It's like slaves, and obviously in our head, being, you know, Israel and understanding the history, in our head, as soon as we think slave, we think of um, stepped on. You know, they're just pretty much, they're just, you know, trash. They think of the slavery that our ancestors went through, right? But when we read through the scriptures, we come to find out that, you know, in many cases, and plus there's laws on how you treat your slaves, right? You cannot treat them like garbage. Okay, you can't treat them like garbage. Typically, that is not taught. Okay, were their slaves treated badly? Yes, obviously. You got wicked people, and you know they treat their slaves, you know, like garbage. But technically, your slaves are your possession, and you're supposed to take care of them. You're supposed to take care of them. Okay, so you know, I'm just going to touch on it, and we're going to look at some definitions. We're going to look at a couple things in there in the text. But I don't want people to think that, you know, handmaidens have no value and they have no place today. Okay, it's just like there's some people who believe, you know, polygyny has no place today. But of course they can have a place. Okay, of course they do. But it just depends. Each person, each woman needs to look at her particular situation, because I think a lot of times we eliminate ourselves out of things which could be, you know, a solution. Like for instance, you guys already know where we are with polygyny. We know polygyny is biblical, so I'm not here to try to convince. Shalom, shalom, Sister Candace. I'm not here to convince that, you know, make a polygyny argument or whatever. But hear me out. What I'm saying is, remember, you know, there are women out there who try to make a case against it, right? And in some cases, it could be it can be their salvation. It can be a way that they can have a righteous husband. We already know women outnumber men and stuff like that. And then, of course, you go into, you know, people who have gender identity issues, and some men out there who don't even like women anymore. And then you have those who are incarcerated, so on. And then you have those who are non-believers. So you know, if you want a righteous Hebrew brother, you know, the pickings are pretty slim, right? So that way polygyny kind of opens it up for women, that every woman can have a husband. Okay, may not be by herself, but she can have a husband. She can have a righteous husband. All right, but you got a lot of women who eliminate that and be like, no, I can't do that, can't do that, not gonna, you know, no, not for me, whatever, right? So there, even some of our sisters in the truth are kind of eliminating position of being covered when they look down at like a handmaid. And no, I'm not saying, hey, go out, be a handmaid. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying, it does fit some people's situations, and it doesn't have to be something super negative. Okay, there's women who will look at a situation, and for example, say you have a woman and she's not interested or not ready to be a wife, but she wants to be covered, or she wants to join herself to a household. The handmaid's a good option. Being a handmaid is a good option. Because people say, well, you know, it's like they're a slave and you just, okay, first of all, you can be a housekeeper right now and the job is the same, okay? Oh, but you get a paycheck. Well, if you're joining someone's house, you get more than a paycheck. You get all the other stuff that goes along with being a part of somebody's house, okay? But we'll get to that in a second. So let me read a little bit as far as the value, okay? We read in Genesis 33, okay, that, you know, the handmaidens of Rachel and Leah, you know. Now we know they became wives, okay? They became wives. These handmaidens were responsible for bringing what, half of Israel in, okay? So we, you know, we got to look at it like that. We know, I think Leah did like between 4 and 6 by herself, but you know, the handmaids had a job because Rachel only had 2, okay? So at least a third of Israel came from handmaids, okay? And we're gonna look at a few other handmaids as well. So let me look at, where do I want to go here? Where do I want to go here? You know what? Let me go to Proverbs 31 first, okay? Let me go to Proverbs 31 first. I'm just going to pick out a couple of places real quick so we can deal with handmaid. And don't worry, we'll deal with definitions and stuff like that. So Proverbs 31, because everyone loves to go there, but let's see what it says as far as how this person treats their handmaid. So I'm going to go to verse 30. Proverbs, 31 and then 15. 31:15. Look at what the wife does. Okay, the wife, she rises also while it is yet night, so early in the morning, and give it meat to her what? Her household, and a portion to her what? Maidens. Okay, maidens, young women, handmaids, stuff like that. We know that maiden and handmaid is a young woman, you know. And jumper, that's 15. 21. She is not afraid of the snow for her what? Household. These handmaidens are in her household, right? Household, for all her household are clothed with scarlet. Okay? So the wife is taking care of her household, right? A handmaiden is there to help the household, okay? That's what a handmaiden is there to help. But the wife also helps the handmaidens too. 27. She looketh well to the ways of her what? Household, and eateth not the bread of idleness. Okay, so the wife even takes care of her entire household. It's for the betterment of the whole household. And look who's living in that household, verse 15. Her maidens are handmaidens. Okay, you got a question already?
Master. There's Zen Explorations asked the question: does the handmaiden get to decide if she will reproduce with the husband?
Okay, this is a good question. Okay, not exactly. She doesn't say, okay, well, I'm gonna be a wife. She can request to be a wife. She make it known. She just say, I would like to be a wife, right? And then if the man agrees to that and say, yeah, okay, yeah, I'll make you a wife. Boom, there you go. All right, you can be a wife. Here's the thing, and we're gonna go to Ruth to show you that. Um, he can make her a wife, and that's another thing that's one in my notes is that there's no such thing as once a handmaid always a handmaid. Okay, there's no such thing as that. Okay, a handmaid doesn't have to be a handmaid forever. She can become a wife. Okay, eventually, just depends. And one of the other benefits is that she can be a handmaid in someone's house, and say that husband, because the next question might be, well, what if the husband doesn't want to give her a baby and stuff like that? Okay, fine. If he's a righteous brother, then the next thing he's going to do, since you have a desire to be a wife, then the next thing he's going to do is find you a husband. That's the next thing he can do. He can be like, okay, well, I don't want to make you a wife, but there's another brother, boom, and now once you become someone else's wife, you're out of your former master's household, so to speak. Okay, so yes, she can. She wants to reproduce and all that, no problem. Okay, she can become a wife. She don't even have to be that guy's wife. She can be someone else's wife, but now she went from handmaid to wife, and everything's great. Okay, and we're gonna get into some of those benefits too. Okay, so if you go Proverbs 31, read 15, verse 15, verse 21, and verse 27. Okay, so the handmaids are taken care of. Okay, that's the one thing I want people to know. Everyone has this idea of that. You just beat on the handmaid, you beat on your slaves, you beat everybody in the house, and there's just tyranny. No, there's no tyranny. How are you gonna have a good functioning household? And there's nothing but tyranny. A guy comes stomping through the house and beating everybody. No, you got to get the Greco-Roman slavery period, the Trans-Saharan slavery period. You got to get that out of your head. Okay, not all slavery is the same. Okay. Men made themselves slaves back then because they owed a debt. Okay, they said, okay, hey, I work off my debt. I work for you for 6 years, 7 years. Depends on whatever it is. Okay, a slave. You're just working. Okay, you're just working off a debt. It doesn't mean somebody's putting a whip in your back. Get rid of the Egyptian slavery. Okay, that idea. So handmaids, that's not how it goes. Okay, that's not how it goes. Okay. Now, go to Luke, and let me know if there's other questions that come up.
I will, Master.
Thank you. Luke, I'm going to go to the New Testament, okay? For people to say there's no value. Greetings. M for Johnny. So, I'm going to go to Luke 1, okay? Talking about handmaid. Luke 1, and let me go down to let me start at verse 39. Luke 1 and 39. which is, and Mary arose in those days and went into the hill country with haste into a city of Judah and entered into the house of Zacharias and saluted Elizabeth. And it came to pass that when Elizabeth heard the salutation of Mary, the babe leaped in her womb, and Elizabeth was filled with the Holy Ghost. And she spake out with a loud voice and said, Blessed art thou among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb. And whence is this to me, that the mother of my Lord should come to me? For, lo, as soon as the voice of thy salutation sounded in mine ear, the babe leaped in my womb for joy. And blessed is she that delivered, for there shall be a performance of those things which were told her from the Lord. Now, and Mary said, My soul doth magnify the Lord, and my spirit has rejoiced in God, my Savior. And 48, for he has regarded the low estate of his handmaiden. For behold, from henceforth all generations shall call me blessed. Okay, so you think Elizabeth and Mary, oh, they're handmaidens. Okay, now she just humbled herself. I'm a handmaiden, and Elizabeth, I'm a handmaid. Okay, but look what came. John the Baptist came from Elizabeth, and the Mashiach came from Mary. Okay, so let's not just discount handmaid. Let's not just discount that out of hand, right? Now, to further my point, I'm going to go to Acts chapter 2, and I'm going to pick it up at 16. I'm going to go to Acts chapter 2, and I'm going to pick it up at 16 to further my point. All right, so I don't want us to discount a handmaid out of hand, okay? And in fact, I want to look at a definition here real quick. Now, I'm going to go to my Strongs over here. Now, it said maiden. Okay, it said maiden, which is basically just a damsel or a young woman. It said by implication, a maiden, bowels, compassion, damsel, tender love, great tender mercy, pity, wound, whatever. And then it says in the 7361, Rahama, okay, Rahama, feminine, it is a maiden or a damsel, right? So that's what you have there. Now, I'm going to look at it. And what we had,
Enlightened one is waving at you, sorry.
It's okay. Shalom, enlightened one. Shalom, enlightened one. Okay, let me go to Genesis 31. No, 33. Genesis 33, verse 6, I believe it had handmaiden in there. Yeah. And there it is, handmaidens. Okay. Verse 6. It's Shifka, handmaiden. Okay. Shifka. It's maid servant. It could be a slave girl, maid servant belonging to a mistress. Okay. Typically, handmaidens were given to someone who just became a wife, because the duties of a wife, it's a big deal. You got a lot of stuff to do. There's a lot of stuff to do to help, the wife of the house. Like, for instance, I have a friend. He is a shepherd. He is a pastor, and he has a lot of kids. How many does he have? I won't say his name right now, but how many does he have? He has seven. Yeah, so he has like 7 kids. And so now he's going to take on a handmaiden because his wife needs a lot of help. This person who he's going to take on desires to be a handmaiden. She wants to join herself to his house. That's what she wants to. Okay, she wants to help. She wants to be under the covering, of what she believes a righteous man. She wants to be under his covering, right? So she's going to join herself. And it says, as belonging to a mistress of address, speaker, and humility. Like I said, Mary humbled herself. Okay, remember we read in Luke, she just humbled herself down and said, I'm just a handmaiden, you know what I'm saying? Or Elizabeth. So I wanted to look at that. So let's go. Okay, I'm in Acts 16, which reads, but this is that which was spoken by the prophet Joel. And it shall come to pass in the last days, said God, I will pour out of my spirit upon all flesh. Let's see who he's talking about. And your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, and your young men shall see visions. Who else? And your old men shall dream dreams. Who else? And on my servants and on my handmaidens will I pour out in those days of my spirit, and they shall prophesy. So what, handmaidens don't have any value now? So a lowly slave girl, a lowly handmaiden is going to be able to prophesy. A lowly handmaiden is going to have the spirit of the Most High poured out on her. Okay? So I'm only saying that because I don't want people to think that all of a sudden a handmaiden has like no value, there's like no esteem in them or anything like that. We got to understand we come from we got to get in our Hebrew mindset. In our Hebrew mindset, it was kind of like in our Roman mindset, you have like welfare, where the state takes care of you, you can get your benefits and all that other stuff, right? But in the Western mindset, it was a system in which those people, those poor people, they can join themselves to a house and they're taken care of. The man in the house and the wife of the house, they eat. Guess what? The handmaids eat too. And nobody said feed them slop or anything like that. Okay? They may have been cooking. So food was good. They cooked it themselves anyway. And they served the master. Okay? And it just depends on what it is. Okay? If I had a handmaid and she couldn't cook, I wouldn't want her to cook. She's not cooking, or she's got to figure it out or something. Okay, so it's not that. And they are still followers of Yah. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes, and they're still followers of Yah. Exactly. So you just got to be careful of what who you join yourself to. Okay, it doesn't mean you got rubber stamp. Oh, you're just a slave. You're just a piece of trash. And you can be treated like dirt. Remember, if you're not a wife at the time, there is no divorce. You'd be like, no, I don't want to be covered by this person. I'm out. Okay, I'm out. I know back in the day, that the handmaid was the property, okay, of the wife, right? Of the wife. I'll show you a different example too in a minute. But I know that the handmaid was the property of the wife, so to speak, right? Because she's designed to help the household. And I say the household because everybody wants to say, well, oh, she's there to help the wife. Yes, but she's there to help the household because the husband benefits from that too, right? So she's there to help the household, right? But today, you can't keep somebody against their will, okay? So if you have a handmaid and you're mistreating her, and she's like, okay, I'm done. It's over. There is no divorce papers for a handmaid. Okay, today there is no divorce paper. All right, so you're not stuck in a situation. Okay, you can't hold somebody against their will. Okay, you can't do that. You're not stuck. So we're gonna deal with that. So where Acts got it from was Joel 2. Was there anything else?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, let's go to Joel 2. I'm looking for it. There we go. Joel chapter 2, and where is the 28? 2 and 28. This is where Acts 2 got it from. And it shall come to pass afterwards that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, your old men shall dream dreams, your young men shall see visions, and also upon the servants and upon thy handmaids in those days will I pour out my spirit. Okay? Now, I did it over as handmaid, and that's in Genesis 33, and it should be the same thing. So it's the same word. Joel 2 and verse 29. Should be the same. Sometimes it's different, but it should be the same. Handmaids. And yeah, same thing. Maid servant, slave girl, maid servant, as belonging to. Now, when we look at it in the New Testament, like if I look at it in Luke 1, let me look at that. Okay, because this is the Greek, and we're going to get the Greek definition. Luke 1 and 48. Chapter 1 and 48. Okay, I like using my little strongs there for a second. Handmaiden. Okay, let's look at it. Handmaiden in the Greek is doule. All right, Greek. A female slave, bond maid, or handmaid. Okay. Female slave, involuntary or voluntary. Involuntary or voluntary. Okay, so you're not trapped in a situation. Oh, I got into this man's house and now he won't let me. No. I'm talking about righteous people. Okay, righteous brothers. Okay, I'm talking about righteous people. And they had some occurrences. And also, I was looking at another definition, and it said something about a prostitute can be a handmaid. Probably the best situation for her anyway. I know Hosea married a prostitute and all that, but let's not make a practice of that. But here's the thing.
You mean
Former. Sorry. Former. You're right. Former prostitute. being a handmaid is probably a good option. Say you have a young lady and she was in that life, being prostitution and stuff like that, and then she's coming into the way, okay, and now she wants to serve Yah, okay. She's repentant of her former life. She used to be a prostitute. Look at Rahab. Look at Rahab, okay. She's gonna make salvation, okay. And even the Messiah said even prostitutes gonna make it into the kingdom before some of these charlatans out here. So let's not keep looking down on people, okay. Let's not keep looking down on people when if they get in and you don't. I mean, which situation was better? Okay, so a former prostitute, she can be that. That may be a good situation for her, a great situation. Maybe someone who a female. Imagine a female who's been so traumatized she really don't want to be in that way. Okay, she may not benefit.
No, I'm saying what are the benefits?
Okay, and we're gonna get to. I'm glad you brought that up. We'll get to the benefits. Let's say you have a woman, she's been so abused and traumatized, like sexually. Guess what? She probably doesn't have any interest in being a wife, but she still want to serve Yah. She still want to be covered. Handmaid. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with being joined to someone's house? Okay? The difference is, like a handmaid, a man does not have sex with his handmaid. Once he do, she's a wife. Okay, and I'm gonna address that because you're gonna have some wicked butter muffins out there who think they're going to be slick and just have a house full of handmaids and think they can just have their way with them. It doesn't work like that, okay? It doesn't work like that. So we're going to get into the benefits, but I want to finish the scriptures a little bit. Now, let's go to Ruth real quick. Let's go to Ruth, and I'm going to go to chapter 2. And I want you guys to notice something real quick. Ruth chapter 2, if I start in verse 10. Now, I'm going to read verse 3 because we read that before in one of my last lives, but I'm reading it with a different emphasis. Ruth 2, and I'm starting verse 10 right here, and it says, Then she fell on her face and bowed herself to the ground and said unto him, Why have I found grace in thine eyes, that thou shouldest take knowledge of me, seeing I am a stranger? So this is Ruth. She said, I'm a stranger. She's basically not even an Israelite. She said, she's not even an Israelite. She said, why, this is Ruth talking to Boaz, like, why you even noticing me? Why are you even noticing me? In verse 11, and Boaz answered and said unto her, It has fully been showed me all that thou hast done unto thy mother-in-law since the death of thine husband, and how thou hast left thy father and thy mother and the land of thy nativity, the place where you were born, and art come unto a people which thou knowest not hereunto. You've never heard this before, okay? You joined yourself to Israel, and you left your mother, your father, and even after your husband died, you were serving your mother-in-law. You stuck around. You stayed here. Okay, so she stayed put. And then where I want to go, to 13. The Lord recompense thy work, and a full reward be given thee of the Lord God of Israel, under whose wings thou art come to trust. You were serving the Most High God. So you're going to get blessed for that, right? Just a handmaid. 13. Then she said, Let me find favor in thy sight, my Lord, or master, for that thou hast comforted me, and for that thou hast spoken friendly unto thy what? Handmaid. This is Boaz. Ruth, Boaz. She said, your handmaid. Okay? Unto your handmaid. Okay? Though I be not like unto one of thy handmaids, I'm not like the rest of your handmaids. Even though I'm not like the rest of them, you spoke kindly to me, you comforted me, bless you. I appreciate that. Okay? So you have that, right? So she just said, I'm a handmaid. And this is Ruth, okay? Grandmother of King David, okay? So something good can come out of it, okay? Now I'm going to go to chapter 3 real quick. I'll show you something. Because they always say, well, handmaids will just given to a wife. She was serving Boaz as a handmaid, and she didn't belong to anybody. Naomi was her mother-in-law. Okay? So verse 3. Chapter 3, verse 1. Then Naomi, her mother-in-law, said unto her, that my daughter, shall I not seek rest for thee, that it may be well with thee? So, I want to set you up, in a good way. Now is not Boaz of our kindred, with whose maidens thou was. You were one of his maidens. You were one of those maidens, okay? One of those young women over there. Behold, he winnowed barley tonight in the threshing floor. So he's working. So I'm gonna tell you what you need to do. Wash yourself, therefore, and anoint thee, and put thy raiment upon thee, and get thee down to the floor. But make not thyself known unto the man until he shall have done eating and drinking. Till he's done eating and drinking. Okay, he's gonna be working all day. He's gonna come back, and he's gonna eat, drink. Don't make yourself known. Stay low. Wash yourself. Put yourself together. Presentation, ladies. Presentation. Verse 4. And it shall be when he lieth down, and that thou shalt mark the place where he shall lie. So take notice, and thou shalt go in and uncover his feet and lay thee down. And he shall tell thee what thou shalt do. So then he's going to tell you. Okay. Once he finds out you're there, then you'll see what happens. Verse 5. And she said unto her, all that thou hast said unto me, I will do. Verse 6. And she went down unto the floor and did according to all that her mother-in-law bade her. And when Boaz had eaten and drunk, and his heart was merry, he went to lie down at the end of the heap of corn, and she came softly and uncovered his feet and laid her down. And it came to pass at midnight that the man was afraid and turned himself, and behold, a woman lay at his feet. And he said, who art thou? And look at what she said. And she answered, I am Ruth, thine handmaid. Spread therefore thy skirt over thy what? Handmaid, for thou art a near kinsman. Okay? So in the last live, we were talking about her, you making your intentions known, letting them know she served him. Okay, read chapter 2. She's out there with her men and his other handmaids, and she's just doing her thing. Okay, wasn't trying to make a big deal, too much of a big deal or whatever. And then like in chapter 2, she was like, man, that you even take notice of me, that you would even be not kind to me and all that. And he's like, I've been watching you. I've been watching. I heard about all the good things you are. I heard how you are. Okay, I heard what you've done. I heard you trying to serve the Most High. I heard about you. See, this is what I'm talking about. And guess what? She was a handmaid. Started off as a handmaid. Okay, so that's what I want us to understand. That she was a handmaid. Now, let's talk about a couple things. Okay, we already talked about one. There is no once a handmaid, always a handmaid. Okay, we see Ruth already. Does a handmaid have a choice of attire? Good question. Has a handmaid have a choice of attire? No. When you go into a man's house, you represent him. So if he's a righteous dude, then he's going to want you to represent him and be modest. Represent his household. Okay, and be modest. That's what he's going to want. So she doesn't necessarily No, if you mean she's gonna dress provocative or anything, no. Okay, no. I mean, to a righteous dude.
Yeah. Or whether or not she wears pants.
Oh, whether or not she wears pants. No, if you join someone's house, everybody got to be marching to the same beat. Everybody's got to be doing the same thing. Okay, so you got to do that, and we're gonna get those benefits and everything like that. Let me just go ahead and do differentiation. Wife, concubine, handmaid. Okay. A wife basically gets sex, inheritance, gifts, food, raiment, conjugal rights. She gets everything. Okay, she gets the whole 9 yards, right? Concubine is a wife who gets everything else. I guess I'll say first wife. A first wife gets except inheritance. Okay, she gets gifts and she gets everything else. She gets covered everything else except inheritance. Handmaiden. Basically, a handmaiden serves a household as well. She gets everything everyone else gets except no sex, no inheritance. Okay, so it starts to get subtracted. Okay, wife gets all three. Concubine, take off the inheritance. Okay, and when I say covered, you get covered spiritually, you get provided for, provision, food, all that, raiment, all that stuff. Okay, that's covered. Okay, wife gets all three. Then you talk about a concubine, take off the inheritance. Okay, and you go to a handmaiden, you take off the sex too. All right, so no inheritance, no sex, but you get everything else. What I mean by that, you get the covering. Okay, you get the guidance of the master of the household or the husband of the household. Okay, you get his protection, his provision. For example, you're on the land. You guys are homesteading. You're on the land, right? And an intruder wants to come in on the land. Okay, and let's say you got a couple of little homes there or whatever. Or you can have the same home, but let's just say you have a couple of homes. And an intruder comes in, the man of the land, the master of the land, looks out his window, he sees an intruder, but he's heading towards the handmaid's house. What is he gonna do? He's gonna be like, okay, well, that's the handmaid's house. I ain't worried about it. Good luck. I wish her all the luck in the world. Hope she makes it. Come on, she gets protection too. See, he's gonna come out the door, brandishing his firearm, and be like, okay. So she gets protection too. Okay, he's like, well, whoo, I'm glad he didn't choose this house. Poor handmaid. I sure hope she was practicing shooting. I hope she makes it. Whoo, everybody else get down, stay low. No, come on. The whole land is protected. The whole household. Okay, everyone is protected. Okay, so she gets her protection, guidance, vision. She has a covering, everything. Okay, she has all that. The master of the house is just not having sex with her. And when he dies, he's not going to leave an inheritance for her. That's it, as a handmaid. So before anyone looks at, oh man, handmaid, oh that sucks. It depends on your situation. It depends on your situation. Remember I used that example of the, a prostitute or something like that. So, or it don't even have to be a prostitute. It could be someone who was abused terribly. And she said, okay, well, I'm not going to flip the script and become a lesbian, but I don't want to be with men that way. But she still desires to serve the Most High and be covered. Handmaid. Now, is that for everybody? No, it's not for everybody. Do you have to have been raped or something in order to, be that? Thank you, sweetheart. No. You could just choose. You could just choose me like I'm. That's what I'm suited for. I'm not ready to be a full wife. I definitely want to be covered. I just don't want to be a wife right now. Hope the handmaid makes it. I'm sorry. This is what I'm saying. I don't want people to think that the handmaid, is just SOL. No, she's part of the household. She gets protection too. She gets the benefits too. You protect the man of the house is going to protect everybody in the house. He's going to feed everybody in the house. They're all going to eat the same food. Everybody gets a bed. Okay? I mean, it's all the same there. Okay? He's trying to grow his household. Okay? He's trying to build a stronghold. Righteousness. That's all. Do it in righteousness. So all I'm saying is that there are options out there.
I have a question. So can a handmaid decide that she wants to marry someone else, not the master of the household, but another brother?
In case you guys didn't hear it, and I think you did hear it, but Sister Rebecca said, can a handmaid decide to marry someone else, not the master of the household? The answer is yes. Okay? The answer is yes. Hear me out. My brother in the faith, following Yeshua, is just saying that men have to be vetted. Okay? Now we're going into the benefits. Men have to be vetted, right? So I have a handmaid in my household. She don't want to be my wife. Okay? Let's say she don't want to be my wife, or I don't want her to be my wife, or whatever. Doesn't mean there's got to be mistreatment or anything like that. Okay? She's technically a wife in training. You can look at a handmaid like that. A wife in training. Ruth was training. And she was already trained. She was someone else's wife before until her husband died. Okay? Then she became a handmaid. So a handmaid could be basically a wife in training. Okay? You don't have to look at it, slave, No. You don't have to look at it as prostitute. It's wife in training. Okay? So, you don't want to necessarily marry the master of the house, or he may not want to marry you. But there's nothing wrong with you saying to him, hey, could you find me I'm ready to be a wife. Okay? If it's not going to be me and you, that's cool. But I'm ready to be a wife. And he can help you with that search. That's part of being covered. That's part of being guided. Okay? Nice way to look at it. Wife in training. Yeah. It's a wife in training. It's a way of being guided, covered. You're covered spiritually. You're protected. You're provided for. You're part of a household. You're part of a ministry, a tribe. You're part of a tribe. And then brothers talk to other brothers and they build with other brothers. So if I know a brother, Okay, I know a couple of brothers. Now I know a brother who wants a wife, and here I am, I have a perfectly good handmaid. She's great. She's been submissive. She's served. She's helped. She's raised kids. She's cooked. She's cleaned. She helped. She got in the gardens. She did all this stuff. Now look at what I can tell the brother now. She's vetted. Look at what I can tell the sister. He's vetted. Hey, I know this brother. He has a farm out there. He's doing his thing. He's about it. He's not sitting in an apartment somewhere in the middle of the city just wanting somebody. Will she learn things the wise learn? Weapons? Absolutely. Absolutely. There's nothing different. If he's righteous, there's nothing different. If I got my wives and we're out there on a range or out in the woods and we're shooting, learning it, guess what? Handmaid doing the same thing. We're out in the gardens, handmaid doing the same thing. Everything. Everything. Learn how to take care of kids and cooking and canning and all that. I'm gonna do another video on all these various skills. There's no difference, but there's no. And brother Johnny, you're exactly right. There's no different except the sex. There's just no sex. Okay. Now, once sex enter in, she's a wife. That's it. And you can't go hand her off to somebody else. Okay, it's done for. That's it. It's over. She's a wife now. That's it. And to get rid of her, she would need a get. And you better do this in righteousness. That's all I can say. Okay, that's all I can say. There's no difference. Let's quit giving a bad name to handmaids. Look at all the women. There's some daughters of Zion who started off as handmaids and became wives and birthed patriarchs. Okay? Let's just keep that in mind. Okay? Let's keep that in mind. So the other thing. So what you got, like I said, handmaidens, the only difference is no sex, no. What does that say? She said.
It says, in the scriptures you just read, did he ever refer to the handmaidens as his wives?
Yes, he did. We have to go to. I'm glad
Genesis.
back in Genesis, you have to. I'm sorry. You had to put me on the spot, huh? But yeah, since they had children, they were definitely they referred to as wives. So I'm going to go to it. Okay. I'm gonna find it right here. All right, and 30. Let's see here. Okay, so if you look at let's see here.
He gave the handmaid to wife.
Right, he did say that in Genesis 30. That's what I was looking at here. It says in Genesis 30. Okay, well, Genesis 30, and when Rachel saw that she bare Jacob no children, Rachel envied her sister and said unto Jacob, give me children or else I die. And then Jacob anger was kindled against Rachel. Okay, so I'm trying to look at the actual verse. Okay, there it is. Okay, 3. And she said, behold, my maid Bilhah, go in unto her, and she fell there upon my knees, that I may also have children by her. Okay, and that's another thing on a side note. When you have a man, and whether you or your co-wife have children, it's all of your children.
And for Johnny, he said, handmaiden is like a nanny today.
It's kind of like a nanny. Yeah, you don't have sex with your nanny.
However, it's a little different because some nannies are live-in, some are not.
Yeah.
But if it's a live-in nanny, she's getting protection. She's getting spiritual guidance. She has a covering. She has someone to refer to for day-to-day matters and weightier matters. She has all of that. She's not just a single woman out there trying to make it on her own.
Exactly.
She's being covered. She's being provided for, but she's not that master's wife.
She's not that master's wife. That is absolutely correct.
She's a part of his household.
She's a part of his household. She's a part of, his tribe. Okay. The average guy just can't come up and snatch her by the hand and be like, okay, yeah, you're coming with me. You know what I'm saying? So she's a part of his household. Right. Okay. You can say live-in nanny, but today, like if you actually had a live-in nanny or something like that.
He said yes, live-in nanny.
Right. It's like a live-in nanny, a little bit better.
Yeah.
A little bit better. It's like a live-in nanny, but a little bit better. And what I mean is, Like if I had a live-in nanny right now, I can't tell her what to do, who she's gonna date, who she's gonna marry, or anything like that. I can't guide her like that. Okay, in the world,
Yeah.
I won't. I'm not over her spiritually or anything like that. Right? She can do what she wants to do. She has her own me time. She can do what she wants. You know, when she leaves out the door, she can do what she wants.
Yeah.
Today, but I get what you're saying. It's a living nanny, but a little bit better because of the spiritual guidance and the protection and provision and stuff like that, right? You know, so you have that, and then it says, bill her, okay, and she gave him bill her handmaid to what? To wife, okay. So they are a wife, and then of course Rachel did the same thing, and she gave them to wife, gave their handmaids to wife. Okay? So you look at that in Genesis 30, basically. Okay? So you gotta like I said, some women they're not interested in the physical part. Okay? They're not interested in the physical, some women, right? If you know you're interested in that physical part or whatever, okay, then handmaid may not be for you. Well, you won't be a handmaid for life anyway. Okay, you won't be you don't have to be a handmaid for life anyway. You just make that intention known. You just say
in the time being,
Yeah.
while you're getting yourself together, it's an option for single women who don't yet feel like they are ready
Yeah.
to be married,
Right.
yet they want to come out of her, they want to be in community, they want to get out of the city, they
wanna
want
get
to
out
live a set apart life.
Exactly.
So they have an option
Yep.
while they continue to work on themselves and prepare themselves for marriage.
Absolutely, that's what you and I talked about off cam. Those are some of the benefits. In case you guys couldn't hear her, but that's what it is.
And before Johnny agrees, he said you're spiritual head over her as opposed to a nanny.
Exactly. That's exactly. That's exactly right. Okay, your spiritual head over her. She has those positions. She can move out. There's some women right now. There's some women right now who they're sitting there. They're sitting in the city. They're doing their thing, and they want to get out. They're like, I just want to get out. I'm doing this all by myself. I'm like a single mother or something like that. I want to get out like now. I don't think we have time. You can join yourself to a family. You find a righteous man. You find a righteous family. Whatever. If they're on the move, they're leaving. I want to be a part of your household. I want to be a part of your tribe. There you go. Then you get wife in training. You learn how to submit. You learn how to serve. Guess what? You're like, oh, well, because you have people with a negative attitude. They're like, oh, well, I'm just go over there, just babysit and, watch your kids or whatever. Guess what? Your kids are watched too. The wife is watching your kid too. You get all the benefits except for the sex. Okay? All the benefits. Look at some of the questions here. Yep, nanny today. You're the spiritual head over her still as opposed to a nanny. Absolutely. Candace, is she able to join family with children while single? Okay, Sister Candace. Okay, is she able to join a family?
You address that for single mothers.
Mm-hmm.
If she's a single mom, she has children. Is
Mm-hmm.
she able to join herself to a family? I think that's what she's saying.
Okay, if you're saying that, if I'm understanding your question correctly, yes, exactly right. You're like, okay, well, think about it. Some women are thinking, I got all these kids. I got all these kids. Who's gonna want me and take me and my 4 or 5 kids and stuff like that? You can go as a handmaid. Now, if later on you serve well or whatever, and he decides to say, okay, you know what, I'll marry her. Who knows? But it's a way in, and you get to have a sneak preview, if I can use that term, as to how this man is. Okay? And guess what? You don't have to marry him. But you get a sneak preview. You get to submit, you get to serve, you get to learn things, you get to learn skills. Okay? Don't forget what you're gonna say. You get to learn skills, and you get all the benefits of coming out of her. You're not even a wife yet. You're a wife in training. What was your question?
By hearing and hearing by says she appreciates the stream on this subject matter.
Thank you, Shalom. You guys blessed me. It was something that got you know what? No, I'm gonna give credit where credit is due. My wife kind of inspired me. We had a conversation about it, and she was asking questions about handmaids. She looks at things differently. She don't just look at a term and just think it's negative, right? She doesn't just do that automatically. She kind of digs a little deeper. Same thing with the subject of polygyny years ago. Other people, other women made creams like, oh my God, oh. She didn't do that. She didn't clutch her pearls because of that term. So the same thing when we talked about Handmaids. She was just looking at it. She's like, And so we went to scriptures, started talking about it. Or I went to some scriptures, but we was talking about it, and I said, you know what, I need to do a live about that because there's a lot of misconceptions. Let's see if there's any other questions.
It says, M4 Johnny says, you get to watch the family to see how biblical they are.
Absolutely. And you're not stuck with the family. Thank you, Brother M4 Johnny. And you're not stuck with them. You don't have to, look, you don't have to be negative. They don't have to talk negative or crazy to you. You don't have to talk negative or crazy to them. If it's not a good fit, you can just move on because it's not a good fit. Not because, oh, they're wicked or anything, even though some people are because some people are wicked. But right. you can leave.
But if it's a righteous brother and you just don't fit in with the family, you now have someone who can be your spiritual head to help you vet and find a righteous brother.
Absolutely. And I say that because so many people go towards a negative route. A lot of people so negatively geared. That's why I always have to say, well, if the guy's righteous, wicked, I'm assuming righteousness, okay? So just so I don't have to keep addressing that. I'm assuming righteousness. I'm assuming the brother is righteous, okay? Now, yeah, you get to get into a family, you get to be covered, you get to have a preview, okay? You get to see exactly what kind of family it is, okay? And like I said, you can some women will be content with just being a handmaid. Some of them may say, hey, yeah, I do want to marry the master of the house. And some may say, hey, quote unquote, master of the house, could you find me a husband, please?
Could I say something, Master?
You may.
Okay. It's also with it's also a great responsibility for a man to take on a handmaid, because this is someone you are agreeing to spiritually cover and protect and to provide for, yet you are not going to be getting those conjugal rights.
Right.
She's a full part of your household, so you take total responsibility for her, with the idea that down the road she may become someone else's wife.
So why would you mistreat her?
Yeah, right. So you wouldn't mistreat her. So that's the thing on the male side. It's not an easy decision that a male should make, a man should make, that I'm going to take on a hand wife or two to help my wife.
Yep.
Because it's not just babysitting help.
Exactly.
You are actually adding more responsibility to you.
Absolutely. More responsibility to the household. Just like one of the sisters they asked before, right? And will the handmaid do everything like the wives do? Okay? So I got 2 wives, I got 3 handmaids, and I say, okay, we're about to learn some survival, and we're about to learn some survival, and let me go ahead and get my wives some guns. Guess what? I'm buying the handmaids guns too.
Yeah. And then Rosie UK says, how would the finances work for a single mother with 2 to 4 children coming into a family as a handmaid?
Well, one, she would get her affairs in order, because you said a single mother working. How would the finances work for a single mother with 2 to 4 children coming in as a family and handmaid? Okay, is she working right now or not?
I don't know if she's working or not, but some households, the husband may prefer the wives to work. Some households, he may prefer that the wives are not working. So the handmaid may be working, she may not be working, depending upon the household and how he runs his household.
Right. So it depends on it. Yeah, it greatly depends on how the man runs his household. With his wives, he may not want his wives to work, or he may allow them work for a time just to kind of, pay something off, pay a debt, whatever. The handmaids, he may not have that same thing. He may allow her to work outside the home, assuming she has some skills, some marketable skills. She can work outside the home, okay? Because she needs to get her affairs in order. Again, we taking that example of 3, 4 kids. Right now, say a single mother, 3 or 4 kids, she's working, okay, and a lot of her money is going like to daycare. Well, she joins herself to her house, and now she has someone to watch her kids.
Yeah. And then, for example, what I was thinking is that Rosie UK might be thinking about is, what if I, have a car and my car breaks down? Am I stuck out? Am I stuck walking? because I don't have anyone to help me with the finances for my car.
The man of the house would help in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the man of the house would help in that because this is his household. Now the man of the house is not gonna want to bring a woman in and she's bringing in a ton of debt,
Yeah.
and he's like, okay, I'm gonna pay off her. No. Get your affairs in order. Now, what he may do, you get relief because you're getting fed, you getting a roof over your head, and you got someone to
Poor Johnny said no.
no. It's not a charity case. It's not like that. You know, you get a roof over your head, you get provided for, you got all that, and then you have someone help watch your kids. Okay, and then he'll allow you to go out there, keep working to pay off that debt. Because I'm not paying your debt. Okay.
Then you have a comment. Many women turn towards the government because they don't have or can't find a husband or need help like handmaidens did back in the day.
Absolutely correct.
Thanks for the A and B answers.
Absolutely right. So no problem at all. Okay, so we just gotta we gotta stop looking down on like handmaids. We really got to do that. But like a sister Zen said, that's what they go towards welfare. Some women actually want to work. Okay, some women actually want to work, but they have kids. Okay, they want to work, and they're like,
cheese. Brother Matt said government cheese.
Exactly. Shalom, brother Matt. They want to work. They actually want to work, but then because of their marketable skills, they won't make a whole lot, and the money that they make will probably go towards childcare, right? So now they're just in a rat race. They're just in a rat race, right? So now you join yourself to a house, and now it frees that money up. Somebody's helping you watch your kids. Now you're working. It frees some money up so you can pay off your debts and get things, okay? A ton of exactly. No. So yeah. So So if you a woman out there and be like, I need to get, saddled up, go join a home or whatever, because I need some help with this debt. No. Remember, he can put you out because you're not married. You're a handmaid. He'd be like, the door's that way. You can, no, I'm not paying your school debt. I'm not paying any of that. Okay? So is it right? I'd rather help the house and learn skills. Absolutely.
And for Johnny says, I'm looking for a working doctor.
I take a doctor. In a heartbeat, I take a doctor. So, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. Okay, that's what I'm saying. That you can get some help. This is a way to help you. Being that status is a way to help you. Okay, help you. You're serving the household. Okay, people. There's another one. He should know what responsibility he wants to take on as he chooses a handmaid, the same as he would when choosing an absolutely. Yeah, exactly right.
Absolutely.
Exactly right. Handmaid, wife in training. And to go both sides of enlightenment, he should know the responsibility that he wants to take on. So yeah, he's gonna vet her too. Okay, what's your situation? Well, I'm a single mother. I got 2 kids or whatever. All right. Are you working? Yeah, I have a job. Okay. You have any debt? Well, I got this one credit card. It's like $3,000 on it. I just got to pay that off. Da, da, da. Okay, not that bad. Not too bad. You're talking about a handmaid. It's not a wife.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Talking about a handmaid. Again, she has to be thinking, hey, I want to get out. This family is getting out. I want to get out with them. They're about to homestead. I always wanted to be in a garden, homestead, raise chickens and goats and all this other stuff, be freed from the system. This is a way I can get freed from the system.
But you can't drag the family down. If
No.
you have a lot of debt, you need to pay that down.
You got to pay that down.
Yeah.
And if you have a lot of debt, be honest with it. I have a lot of debt, but all I need, I'm working. I have debt and I'm working, but it's hard for me to pay this debt off because of my overhead. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Because of my overhead. Everything goes out to my overhead, my rent, my light, my phone, my cell phone. You know what I'm saying? Everything goes out to there. Childcare. So all my money is gone. So I pay very little on my debt. This is a way you can free yourself up. Okay? And yes, you may be working out there, but you're going to be helping out at home as well. You're going to be helping out at home as well. It's a way to get free. And people, they miss this opportunity. You just miss it because you let a word be like, slave, handmaid. You think about it. You miss the opportunity. And again, Handmaid, wife in training. It may be the masters of the house, or he may help you find someone else, a vetted brother, and you can be a wife. So yeah, so you benefit. So it's not just the house. Now the household benefits. Let me make that clear. The household benefits, but guess what? You benefit too. If you join yourself to a house and all of a sudden you're buried under debt, and all of a sudden this family help you with your kids, you're able to. So you don't have to worry about that, and you're able to work your debt down. You're able to learn skills that you can use to serve your husband. You might have a practice run. You may be, practicing right there with that guy in that house, or he's going to help you find a husband. Benefit, benefit, benefit. You're not stuck. Oh, I'm in an abusive relationship. You're not stuck. You can leave.
M4 Johnny says, honesty is the best policy. Men can work with a woman like that.
Absolutely. Brothers hit it right on the head. Just be honest. Remember, you come as a handmaid. Just be honest, because you never know the man's situation. There's some men can handle some things and some men can't. So be honest. That guy needs to know if he can handle your situation. So be honest. Remember, you're talk like a handmaid. Look, this is my situation. I want to come out of her, my people. At the rate I'm going right now, what I'm doing right now is not gonna. Messiah might come back before I can get out. Okay? Now, let me give a warning. I got to address some wicked butter muffins out there. You bootlicking, irresponsible, wicked butter muffins out there. You cannot, I repeat, you cannot go grab a bunch of handmaids and then act like they're your wives. You cannot do that. You cannot sleep with your handmaid and then act like she's still a handmaid. She's a wife now. You're responsible for her, which means you got to give her a get. I don't see anywhere in scripture where a man has to give a get to a handmaid. He just give her away. You cannot sleep with her and mistreat her. You can't do that. All right? So I'm talking to these wicked, and I'm saying this is daytime, kids might be around or whatever, so I'm not going to use a whole lot of profanities or whatever, but I'm telling you, you jackleg, pork chop eating, wannabe Hebrew, fake Israelite, butter muffins out there, you cannot mistreat these women. You can't sleep with them. They are handmaids. You can't do it. Okay? You sleep with them, their wife, no longer a handmaid.
It says, what if a professional single woman with no dependent children wanted to become a handmaid? Would she have to give up her job? If not, what would be her expected contributions to the household?
Good question. Great question. I want to answer both sides of that. Okay, so if she's a professional, single, no dependent children, and wants to become a handmaid, would she have to give up her job? That depends on the man of the household, okay? My household, got to be vetted. My household, no, she wouldn't have to give up her job. Depends on if it's going to infringe on what I'm trying to do, my vision and stuff like that, right? But that is man to man, okay? There's no rule, it's man to man. It depends on his needs to fulfill his vision, right? Depends on his needs, so it depends on who you talk to. So you would immediately say that, hey, I have a professional job, I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. Do I have to give up my job? Whatever. That's up to the guy. Okay. So some are going to say yes, but that means he's assuming all responsibility for the handmaid, all financial responsibility. So, me, not necessarily, because we're talking about, handmaid. Not necessarily. The second part, you said, if not, what would be her expected contributions to the household? Her expected contributions, again, we're talking homesteading, right? So things have to be built, okay? So we're on a homestead. We need a septic system. We need a solar bank if you're going to be off grid. We need to dig a well for water. We need all these things. We need a chicken house. We need to build gardens. She's going to contribute like that financially. And she's still, again, everything she's contributing, she's also benefiting from. If she pays money to go build a solar array, she gets to use light too, right? If she helps to dig a septic system, she gets to use it too, right? She buy a lot of food stores to put in the barns and stuff like that, she gets to eat too, right? So it is a communal or tribal contribution. She still wins. She still benefits from all that. She still benefits from all that. Okay? If she helping and she's getting power tools and all the other, whatever those tools are making, she benefits too. So she contributes to everything in a household's vision. Everything in a household's vision. Everything. Okay? So you go for that. I hope that answers your question. Bless you, bro. Thank you. Sorry if my questions are somewhat financial. No, I love that. Again, she's a handmaid. She don't necessarily have to just give up all her money. She's got to kind of, take care of herself too. Because remember, she don't have any inheritance too. So she's, she may want to get her own life insurance, for example, stuff like that, because she don't have any inheritance. So, stuff like that. Health insurance, life if she's working. If the master of the house is restricting her from working, he's assuming all financial responsibility. He's assuming everything. Okay, so we go from there. And it says depends on the head of the home. Yes, in line one depends on the head of the home. It depends on it, but that's why you have those conversations. You ask those important questions.
The Almond boot licking.
They wonder what butter muffin means.
He went past the dollar. Yeah, I did. I went there. Boot licking. I went past the dollar on that. The butter muffin. That's me not cursing. That's me not having. Me not using curse words. That's all that is. Because I'll be looking at a video or whatever, and it's up loud or whatever, and all of a sudden someone says some profanities or whatever, maybe a kid around or whatever. So butter muffin, that's just me not cursing. That's all it is. So that's what it is. I'm sorry. This is what I call.
Brother Matt said facts, big facts.
Yeah. So that's what I'm doing. So the benefits, if I may lay that down. Handmaiden, covering in all its forms of covering. Okay, you're responsible for her. So the handmaiden gets covering. That's her spiritual head. She's a wife in training. He gives her guidance. He can pray over her. He can bless her. Everything. Okay, the whole thing. She gets the guidance. She gets provision. However the household benefits, she partakes in the benefits. And again, I'm talking about righteous men, okay? I'm not talking about wicked people at all. I'm not talking about butter muffins at all, okay? She gets provisions. She gets protection. Remember earlier when I was talking about, well, if an intruder comes to the land, he goes to the handmaiden's house, oh, best of luck to her. No.
Yeah, Brother Matt had a good question. He said, how old is she? Because shouldn't she want to be a wife?
Yeah, you know what? Brother Matt, that is a good question. Some would want to be a wife, but some do not. For example, when I was talking earlier, because I don't know if you were on earlier, but I was talking about you have some women who were mistreated or traumatized, and they don't want to be with a man in that way, right? Or she may be thinking, I'm not ready to be a wife, but she wants to be covered. So it's a way to be covered and not be a wife. Now, if eventually she's delivered from that trauma or whatever, then later she may want to be a wife. That's fine. Okay, she can be a wife, but some women will be content in that. Like some women, they may be a little older. Say she's 60 years old or something, and she wants to be covered. She wants to be under a righteous man, live in a righteous household, serving the Most High and all that. And she just don't want to do the physical thing. She just wants to be covered. That's it. She don't want to be all physical. She's cool. She could have been a widow. She probably got inheritance from her husband who already died. She's good financially. She just wants to live in a house, in a righteous household. That's it. She wants to be covered. She wants to be joined into a family. She may want to be around the kids and be like a mother to the kids and stuff. That's her. Okay.
What if she might have a disability?
She might have a disability
that prevents her performing all the duties of a wife.
Exactly. Even if she's younger, she could have a disability, okay, that prevents her from performing all the duties of a wife, in case you didn't hear Sister Rebecca, okay? It just really depends on the situation. It may be a situation where she would be content with being a handmaid. I just want to be with a righteous family, and I want to live set apart. That may be her only goal. Again, doesn't mean you're always stuck as being a handmaid. It's not a once a handmaid, always a handmaid. It just depends. Okay? It just depends. And the previous question, the professional versus McDonald's worker. Okay. Yeah. There was a classism then. Is that the same with nowadays? The only really the only class system we have is kind of like what you said, Sister Zen, the professional versus the McDonald's worker and stuff like that. That's really kind of the only class system we have, or we can look at it like someone asked this question before. We can look at it like a concubine. People look down on that too, right? Which you don't have to do that, but people look down on a concubine too, which is just a wife without inheritance. But let's go back to the McDonald's worker, and she's got 4 or 5 kids, whatever. And she doesn't have a whole lot of marketable skills and things like that. She's probably not going to be she's probably going to be a handmaid or a concubine, depending on her situation. That's, again, the man in the house, he needs to put people in the right position, right? Like, you're not going to put her in, like, wife position. You're not going to put the woman with 4 or 5 baby daddies, okay, and a ton of debt, put her in first wife position over this virgin, okay, over this virgin who don't have all the issues and don't have the baggage or whatever. But now you put, the wife with 4 or 5 baby daddies, and you put her, the head of your house, as far as the women are concerned, you got to put people, in the right position. Okay?
When we think about how things were then,
Mm-hmm.
a concubine would be someone who has probably been married a time
Probably.
or two before,
Probably.
and she has children from those previous marriages. So
Yes.
as she's
Yes.
coming into your household, she would be a concubine because her children would not
Get
inherit.
inherited, which is
Yeah.
perfect because
Because
Ruth,
they're supposed to get an inheritance from their father. So they are going to get an inheritance, just not from you. So she would be considered a concubine.
That is absolutely correct. Because remember, Ruth, she was a widow. Her husband died, but she had no kids.
She had no children.
So when she became Boaz's wife, her kids can have an inheritance and all that because she didn't have any kids.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the difference. So a concubine, a woman coming in, she already has kids, stuff like that. Now remember, she's a wife. She just doesn't have inheritance. Okay. Let's see what else they're saying. Something.
It says, I want to be a bride of Yeshua. I tuned in late.
Brother Matt. So that's really the difference. I mean, a concubine is a wife. Okay, a concubine is a wife. All right. A handmaiden is not a wife. Okay, there's no sex going on with a handmaid. Okay, once sex happens, she's a wife. Period.
Okay, Enlightened One said, if a handmaid is usually given up to be help to the wives, how can she do it if she going to work every day?
Again, depends on the situation. If she comes in, good question, Enlightened One, that's a good one. Depends on the situation. She is given to be a help, right? But that means she's going to be working even harder because she's going to go to work. Because if she's working, don't get me wrong. If she's working for a purpose. Okay, she's working for a purpose. It's not she's working just so she can leave her kids with the household so she can have babysit with her kids. Okay, if she's trying to pay off debts and all that other stuff, that's fine. Not every master of the household is going to put up with any kind of foolishness or anything like that. Yeah. So she's going to work. She's going to come back home. She's going to come back to the household, come back to the land, and she's going to work. She's going to do what everybody else is doing. There's chickens and eggs to get and work in the garden. She still do all that other stuff. Okay?
In your household, you would allow a handmaid to work to pay down debt. Because you are in transition. You're in transition, so it would be a finite amount of time that you would be working.
Exactly.
Because once we're on the homestead, and it's all hands on deck.
It's a finite amount.
But if she has a ton of debt, that is the process of you working with her situation. So she can put all of her money into paying down her debt, so she doesn't come into the homestead with all of these debts that still need to get paid off.
Correct.
So there would be an end date to the amount of time that she would be working.
Absolutely.
Now, once we're out and set up on the homestead, then it's all hands on deck. Everyone is working, and everyone is contributing towards the household. And then at that time, she is either trying to decide whether she wants to petition the master of the house to
Yes.
become a wife, or whether she would like to petition that he find her a husband.
Exactly right. That's exactly right. Very well said. I won't even restate it. Okay, he said the spiritual problem of rejection, unforgiveness, and bitterness should be taken care of first, or else she won't be able to perform her duties properly. Understood for older women or disabled. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, you hit it on the head, brother man. You hit it right on the head. Yeah, those things need to be taken care of. But again, like I said, you're talking about a woman. There's women out there right now, and they're out in the city, and they're just really just doing it on their own, and they want out. Okay, and again, as long as she's righteous and she's trying to get free, okay, and she may be thinking, I'm not ready to be a wife. She may be thinking that I'm not ready to be a wife, but I do want to get out, and I do want to be covered, and I do want to be of service. Okay, remember Ruth? She was serving. She didn't know if Boaz was going to reject her or not. She don't know. She did her thing. But you got women out in the city right now, so she can transition from that to being a handmaid. She then transition from being a handmaid to a wife. Okay, whether it's first wife or concubine or whatever, she can transition. But you're right; those things do need to be taken care of. But she may need some help spiritually because, like you said, it is a spiritual problem that she may need some help with. Okay, and the household could help. The other thing she gets, and I didn't even mention in her benefits, is sisterhood. She don't have a sister wife, but she has a sisterhood. The other ladies in the house, she has a sisterhood now. All those benefits. Okay, all those benefits. She has all the benefits of a wife except the sex. All those benefits. All that right there. So I would not discount it. Now, I'm not going to just say, benefits, all the benefits. I'll tell you the disadvantage. The disadvantages are, and I can only think of two. If you guys can think of more, let me know. But the two disadvantages: no sex, no inheritance. That's really the only two things that's a disadvantage. Again, don't comment negative things because the dude is wicked. We're talking about righteous men. Okay?
Yeah. Being of service is a labor of love.
Absolutely.
By hearing and hearing by faith.
Absolutely. Being of service. She's being of service. She's a wife in training, if she so desires to be a wife. If you're a man, if you so desire to make her a wife, it's not a problem. It can be done. Okay? It can be done. He's looking at her submission and her service. She's looking at him. Oh, I already see what kind of husband he is. I can see how he treats his wife. I can see how he treats his wives. I can see. Do I want go to him and say, I would like to be your wife. I've been serving you for X amount of time. I would love to be your wife. Or would you find a husband for me? You've already been in training. You've already been on the homestead. You've already been building from scratch. You've already done all that stuff. So now, remember my video when I said, what do you bring to the table? Harken back to that live stream. Or that video. What do you bring to the table? Okay? Now, you've been serving a house. Now, if I'm talking to a brother, I'm like, dude, she's been a handmaid. Obviously, we ain't been sleeping together. But she's been helping my wife or wives, help raising the kids, homeschooling. She's been out in the gardens. She knows how to cook, know how to clean, she knows how to sew. She knows first aid. She do all that stuff. She's debt free. She don't have any debt. So all of a sudden, she's got 3 kids. All of a sudden, it doesn't matter now because she's been through the process. She's proven herself. When Boaz said, I've been watching you and I heard about you. Now you got someone to vouch for you. Now you have that. So you don't have to be plagued by your past. You don't have to wear that like a scarlet letter. Okay? You can have a rite of passage. I hope this has been edifying, you guys. I'm going to go ahead and bring it to a close. I'm going to go ahead and bring that to a close about handmaids. I thank you guys for joining me on that. I think there's going to be another live stream, and I don't want to infringe on my brother in faith following short his time. So I'm going to let you guys go ahead and get some water, restroom break, all that stuff. I think he's having a live stream coming up pretty soon. I just wanted to get this out, and something was just on my heart. So I will talk to you guys soon. I'm sorry, Sister Jawanda Smith. Go back. I think there's a lot of juicy information. Go back to the beginning of this and you'll be able to see what we were talking about there as far as handmaids. I hope it is edifying. Leave comments below. I will see you guys on the next video. Israelite Prepper. Talk to you guys later. Shalom.